the end of 2023, the editors at Driving.ca asked all of the reviewers to name the vehicles that most impressed them over the year. And while I drove a lot of very good models, and some of them were high-end premium vehicles, this was my choice, the 2024 Chevrolet Trax. Now you might be saying the Trax? That quirky little puddle jumper that Chevy used to make? So you need to know that this ain't that. That old Trax was retired, and instead, this is an all-new Trax for 2024. So let me tell you about some of the reasons why it impressed me so much. Pretty much the only thing it has in common with the old one is its name. It's now longer, lower, and wider than the last Trax, and with new exterior styling that's handsome and looks a lot like a scaled-down Blazer. It's roomy inside with a new interior that's a lot better. It has a new engine, and overall, it's a decent little driver. It comes in 5 trim levels, starting with the LS at $21,699. It's obviously not fully featured for that, but you do get heated seats, keyless entry, emergency front braking, lane keep assist, and automatic high beam headlights, among other items. From there you go to the 1RS and then the LT, which is $26,099. Moving up through the various trims can add such items as a heated steering wheel, adaptive cruise control, and blind spot monitoring. Beyond the LT, the 2 upper trims are the Active and My 2RS Tester, and they're both $28,199 before freight and taxes. That single price is because they're both outfitted the same overall, but with a couple of minor differences between them. One of those is that the 2RS's interior accents are red, while the Actives are yellow. Also, the 2RS has 19-inch wheels and a flat bottom steering wheel. Instead of those, the Active substitutes 18-inch wheels and a power driver's seat. It'll depend on personal preference, but between the two, that power seat seals the Active for me. Its smaller wheels will likely cost less for replacement or winter tires too, but right now, we're talking about the RS. My Tester was further optioned with a sunroof, which can be added to all but the base trim. All Trax models use a turbocharged 1.2-liter 3-cylinder engine that makes 137 horsepower and 162 foot-pounds of torque. That's less horsepower than before, but more torque. It can get a bit wheezy when you're climbing a hill, but it's peppy in city traffic. Acceleration is good from a stop, and it gets up to speed quickly and easily. As with the old Trax, it uses a 6-speed automatic transmission. Automakers often use an automatic continuously variable transmission, or CVT, instead in this segment. They're a bit more fuel efficient, but when you mate them to a small engine like this, they're often noisy and everything feels gutless. The 6-speed is the right choice here. Note that this new Trax comes only in front-wheel drive. That's not unheard of in this subcompact segment, where the Hyundai Venue and Nissan Kicks are the same, but some competitors offer all-wheel. If that's what you want, you have to move up to the Trailblazer, the next step up in Chevy's small vehicle lineup, where all-wheel is optional or standard depending on the trim. Along with that peppy acceleration, the Trax is a satisfying little driver. The steering is nicely weighted and smooth, and the vehicle is agile and responsive. It's not a low-slung sports car, but it can still make you smile on a curvy road. It's easy to maneuver and park, behaving just as you'd expect for a vehicle that's intended for everyday driving and commuting. Active noise cancellation is standard on all trims, and the cabin is quiet for a mainstream compact. The cabin design is handsome and functional. The 2 lower trims get an 8-inch touchscreen, while the LT and up get this 11-inch screen. No matter the size, all include wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, along with a 3-year trial to remote access for locking, remote starting, and checking the vehicle through your phone. There are also trial periods for OnStar, a Wi-Fi hotspot, and satellite radio. The top trims have automatic climate control, although it's single zone instead of dual. The dials feel a little cheap and flimsy, one of the few reminders that you are in an entry-level vehicle. But the controls themselves are simple and easy to use. You also get buttons for the heated seats and steering wheel. There are very few vehicle functions stashed into the screen, and that's always a good thing because hard controls are usually far less distracting. The seats feel firm at first, but they're actually supportive on longer drives. Headroom is about the same from the last Trax, but front seat legroom is a bit more generous, while those in the back chairs gain an extra 3 inches of space. The cargo compartment also gets a boost. It now has 725 liters of volume, up from 530 in the last generation Trax. The rear seats fold 60/40 for carrying longer cargo. And if you peek under the cargo floor, every trim has a compact spare tire. This really is a practical little vehicle overall. The last generation Trax was a straightforward A to B subcompact that was one more choice among its rivals. This time, the new Trax is a standout in the segment. It's roomy, it's comfortable, it's fun to drive, it's practical, and it's intelligently priced. Those are factors that are important to a lot of buyers, and all those added up to why I thought it was the most impressive vehicle of the year for me. For Driving.ca, I'm Jill McIntosh. And for more news and reviews, be sure to visit us on social media, Instagram and Twitter.